Howdy, everybody. It's Life Lesson Friday for July 14th, 2023. What 7 years has taught me and what is important about today, 7 years ago, was it's the day that I blew my knee out water skiing. So if you don't know the story, I'll recap real quick. Was on vacation and it was a Thursday. So that morning, thought I'd do a trick that I'd never actually done before. Did a wake helicopter on trick skis. Went about 310 degrees instead of 360, and the ski didn't come off my knee, and my knee buckled and gave out, completely rupturing my PCL, grade 3 MCL, and about 6 other minor things that happened in there. No surgery, just rehab and stick to itness, and maybe some people call it maybe a little bit of stupidity, but a lot of inspiration that has grown and shown a lot of people that you can do some amazing things. And so what it's taught me is at the time, and I'll go back to even when I was younger, and everything revolved around athletics and everything revolved around sports, and my identity was caught up in me as an athlete. I had the thought, and I think I even told a couple of people, like, if I had a career-ending injury to where I wouldn't be able to walk or wouldn't be able to do this, that I would just end it. Like, there's no sense in like me being around if I can't be an athlete. That's how caught up in that identity I was. And, I think that was part of obviously a poor decision on my part as far as being able to do the trick. But I think God's taught me a lot through this, because obviously I didn't have my identity tied up in I have to be an athlete, and I have to be at least an 100% one-piece athlete, because at that time I had already gone through 2 spontaneous pneumothoraxes where my lung had collapsed. The first one of which was actually the anniversary for that was 2 days ago, from 2011. But as I was heading into that vacation, I was 6 weeks out from being laid off from a job that I thought was going to be a long-term career, and that didn't obviously happen. And I was beginning to build a business based on something that God had told me to do more than 20 years before that, and was finally listening. And what he's taught me is that there is so much more to life than how much money you make. Because it's taken me a long time first it took me a long time just to make in my business total what I was making in a year in previous jobs. So it took me a long time to get to that point. I'm still not to where, what I make in my business in a year was what I was making in previous jobs. And that's okay. Like, what it's taught me is that there's so much more to life than how much money you make. What are you doing with your life? What are you doing with every day? Are you making an impact in people's lives? And that's something that I know I can say I am, because I actually was just at the grocery store this morning, and after doing a couple of trainings with some of my athletes. I was at the grocery store this morning, and it was like 3 different people that came up to me and were like, "Hey, I see you running all the time. Keep it up." And that's a paraphrase, but basically this was the type of thing that, you're inspiring, keep it up. Oh, I need to do more myself, that type of stuff. And so I get that all the time. So I know that what I'm doing is making an impact on people. I know that the stuff that I'm doing as far as nutrition and the stuff that I'm providing through my podcast and through the books that I've written, all the different things, like, I know that stuff's making an impact, and it doesn't matter how much money I'm making. And I think in our culture we get so caught up with, how much money do you make? How much can you afford to do? How much can you afford to have as material possessions and that kind of stuff? When all of that doesn't matter. And if you ask people when they get to the end of their life, they're going to tell you that the things that matter to them are not that they've got the biggest house on the block or the fanciest car, or that their house is full of knickknacks and trinkets and all these fancy things, or that they can go to the fanciest restaurant and order whatever they want, and it doesn't matter. What they're going to tell you is that What they value is the friendships that they have. What they value is their family members that they get to see. And it doesn't matter how much is in your bank account. Do you need to make money to be able to pay bills? Yes, the society we're in, we're stuck in this. That's the way that we've built our society. There's no way around it. You have to do some of that. But don't get caught up in it. Just like when I was a kid, I was caught up in being an athlete. God has shown me that I can be an athlete and I can run for Him and I can run and do things that nobody thought was possible. Because believe me, when I blew my knee out, nobody thought it was possible, even myself, because I was looking back at the memory that I posted today when it happened, and I actually posted the sentence, I guess I'm going to have to defer my half marathon in December. I'm not going to be able to run. Guess what happened? I ran that half marathon in December, and I got third in my age group with a blown out knee, with a brace on, and I couldn't feel the knee from 8 miles till the end of the race. So the last 5 miles, I couldn't feel my knee in my leg because I had run so much on it, and it'd gone numb. What you can do to help other people, what you can do to positively impact the world, to positively impact yourself, your family. There's so much untapped potential that we have that we get caught up in how much is in the bank account. And we get caught in that side of things when God wants us to do so many other things with our lives. Then focus on what's in the bank account. He'll take care of things. Does that mean it's always going to be easy? No, life is not easy. Believe me, it's not easy. It's taken me 7 years to get to this point where I'm finally feeling like, okay, I'm starting to get to where I should be from an athletic standpoint. That's a long time. And so things don't happen overnight. There are no overnight successes. You have to work at it every day, all the time. But what you got to keep focused every day, all the time, is the things that are really important, which are your family, your friends, your community, the relationships you have, the people around you, that you're making an impact in the world. One of the guys that I interviewed just this week, it's going to be on the podcast will be live in a couple of weeks. He's making tremendous strides in helping feed the hungry, and like what he has started in just like I think it's like a 2.5 year period. He's almost fed a million meals. I should say he's like 860,000 meals that he has fed to hungry people. He and his organization, and just because they had an idea and they had a dream and they went for it, and it wasn't easy, and he describes that, and that's the thing you got to remember: it's never easy. It's not going to be easy, and if it's easy, guess what? You're probably not pushing yourself enough outside of your comfort zone. You're probably not pushing and leaning into what God wants you to really do with it. Go deeper, go more, spread your wings, and get out there and truly fly, truly soar above everybody else. And do what you need to do. And guess what? They're going to see you up there, and they're going to say, I want to get up there too. And they're going to start climbing, and they're going to come after you, and they're going to follow you, and they're going to chase you. And it's your job to go, come on, let's go. I'll show you the way. Let me circle back down and bring you back up to where I am. So we're all lifting each other up. But don't settle for what society says is okay and success. And don't settle for, well, I'm getting enough in the bank account, so everything must be good. Because if that's what you're focused on, you're going to get 6-7 years down the road and go, what did I do with the last 7 years? What has it taught me? It hasn't taught me anything. Because I can look at the 7 years before my injury, and while I learned some lessons from it, what I really learned was I was not making near the impact that I could or should have been making. And that's what matters. Because at the time, I was very much focused on how much money am I making, how many things can I get, and it changes. And when you see that change and you have that happen, your life changes, and it's tremendous, and it's amazing. And I wouldn't change anything about where I am now. And you might say, how could you say that? Because if you could have a completely healed knee, wouldn't that be better? Sure, it would be better. I wouldn't have to worry about, oh, I stepped wrong, is my knee going to fall apart? Like, those things happen every day. I think about it every day. I think about my knee every day. And so, sure, would it be nice to have two completely perfect knees? But that's not a lesson that I'm going to learn anything from. And so, those failures and mistakes teach us things. And oftentimes, they teach us that the failure or mistake itself is just the first stepping stone to the lesson that God wants to teach you through it. And so, be patient, spread your wings, take it step by step, but do those things, reach for those goals out there that are going to push you beyond just what society says is success. Go have good relationships, go lift people up, go make an impact in somebody's life, and your life will drastically change for the better. So that's a Life Lesson Friday. That's what my life is. That's how my life's changed. And like, besides the athletic accomplishments, which are, I mean, there's a lot. And I've had success. I haven't had the success I want yet. I want more. And so that's why I'm that's why I'm going to keep trying and keep going after it. But I know that my identity is not tied up in that success. My identity is not tied up in that. My identity is tied up in Jesus Christ telling me to help other people find Him and their passion and their ability to make an impact. And so that's what I'm trying to do. And hopefully you'll be able to do that. If you need any help with it, I'm always here. You can always reach out. I'm happy to help out. So in whichever way I can, to just give you a little bit of inspiration, give you a little bit of support. I'm always here for you. So that's what I've been taught, which, believe me, 15, 20 years ago, I was in a every man for himself. Let's go. Let's like compete. I want to get ahead, and it's too bad if you can't, like, scenario. And that's not where I am now, because that doesn't help anybody. Definitely doesn't help me. And it's not the way that Christ wants us to live. So that's the life lesson for today. Hope you all have a great weekend. We'll talk to you soon.